It was difficult to classify this book under a specific genre because the book seemed to be an amalgamation of several genres like science fiction, religion, superhero, and magic. Hi, this is Gautam, and for today's review, we'll be exploring a 1965 classic, Dune by Frank Herbert. Set in a far distant future, the book presents us with an interplanetary empire called the Imperium. Now, this civilization is spread across thousands of planets, and they have reached a certain level of expertise in pretty much everything. Like, for example, they mastered the art of selective breeding, genetic engineering, they've changed the methods of warfare, they've also made interplanetary travel very simple. This book starts by following the life of one family. We follow the life of Duke Leto, and Duke Leto is assigned an important task of the administration of a hostile, inhospitable planet called Arrakis. Now, once the assignment comes to him, he, along with his companion, his women, Jessica, and his son, Paul, leave their home planet and then land on Arrakis. And this planet, Arrakis, is something like no other. The planet has the most important resource valued in the universe. It is melange and is colloquially referred to as spice. But extracting spice comes with a catch. In spite of having the highest concentration of spice, the planet is devoid of water, plants rarely grow, which means extraction requires hard toil and harsh climatic conditions. And you also have the natives of the land. The native inhabitants are a tribal group who travel across the deserts. They're called freemen or fremen. Now, once he is given the administration, when Duke Leto shifts to the planet, Duke Leto is killed by treachery, and his companion Jessica and their son Paul are left in the open desert to starve to death. Now there is a question of survival. So will they survive the harsh climatic conditions of the desert, and will they get their revenge? Will they be in a position to reclaim what is rightfully their own? That forms the rest of the story. Dune is fascinating for several aspects, and I would like to point out the four major domains which I enjoy. First is the desert environment and the culture. Well, of course, it does resemble the real desert in several ways, but it is filled with so many complications and legends. You know, the suits which the people who survive in the desert wear, called as the still suits, they're so advanced that the evaporation, the water which leaves the body is properly trapped, and then it is reprocessed, and then you get to taste the same water through two tubes in your mouth. Women wear necklaces which contain flattened globules, and in these globules water is stored. Water is treated as a godly resource, and if an individual dies, according to the Freeman tradition and culture, yes, the water of the individual belongs to the tribe. So you had a completely different setup on how individuals would try to sustain themselves in a desert environment, even like 8,000 years into the future. Now, moving on to the second aspect, it was with reference to how author Frank Herbert brought in themes of religion, especially the Bethlehemic religions like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. We have references to prophecy, we have references to rebellion, jihad, etc. And this is something which we can connect with the contemporary world. Like, let's take the 21st century, for example. In spite of the developments in science and technology, where even private players can launch a space capsule and then return safely back to the earth, you've reached a situation. In spite of that, religion doesn't simply vanish away from the earth. Religion continues to coexist. It morphs into several forms and is always remaining in parallel, because human beings will find the want of religion in spite of any level of economic development you might reach. The third was the visualized advancements which is presented by the author, right from genetic engineering to utilizing atomic energy. Now, the fact is he's able to create a world which is convincingly true, and he proves it with his writing. And finally, like, when you read this book, I'm pretty sure that you will make this connection. With relationship with contemporary world affairs, you could pretty much relate to how things happen. That's one thing surprising, because this novel was written in 1965, and if you look at contemporary world affairs in Middle Eastern region, you can relate to the story. In the story Dune, we have the large advanced empire trying to extract a very important resource, spice, from a desert planet, a desert environment. And you try to link it with the real world. You have developed, the most powerful country in the world, the United States of America, meddling in the political affairs of the Middle Eastern region, trying to extract oil, which is a valued resource because of its capacity to support so many industries from a desert environment. So the similarities were, really, it was, it was surprising because this was a 1965 book. You don't really expect to make a connection with a 21st century, and that was something which was really surprising. Baffling would even be a better term. So that really hit me hard. But it is not just the 4 factors which make Dune an interesting read, and it has made it firm in the sands of time. Dune is wonderful because Frank Herbert has made sure the story is very gripping. It's a gripping tale of deceit, strategy, tactics, and finally triumph. At the end, you're still wondering, it keeps you guessing. Will the prophet succeed in his campaign? And even if the prophet, the Messiah, succeeds in his own campaign, should he sacrifice himself so that the campaign is successful? I just recommend one thing. Do read the book before the movie is out. Bye for now.